Monsters, Inc. is one of Pixar's most well-known films. It's remembered for its unforgettable characters, iconic one-liners, and a story that pulls at the heartstrings of monsters and their humanity. But what I, as an aspiring writer, find most notable when watching and rewatching this film is just how well written and beautifully crafted the story really is. And while that statement applies to the entire film, I think its first 20 minutes is some of Pixar's very best and most succinct world building in all of their filmography. Bold statement, I know, but let me show you what I mean. The movie begins with a fake-out for only viewers, where we hear off-screen parents say goodnight to their very real, non-animatronic child, who then begins hearing and seeing what seems like a monster creeping from their closet, which entrenches us in this world right away. We're expecting real-life consequences to come from whatever happens in this scene, only for our expectations to then immediately be subverted when the facade is undone by the monster encountering misstep after misstep. The illusion is then fully dropped when it is revealed that the entire scene is a setup by Monsters Incorporated as a training program for new scarers.
Simulation terminated. Simulation terminated.
Can anyone tell me Mr. Biles' big mistake? Anyone?
This setup is used to give us a glimpse into the monster world and what rules they live by and the importance of said rules.
See? The door. You left it wide open.
This teaching moment is a great vehicle for showing and not just simply telling us of these guidelines.
And leaving the door open is the worst mistake any employee can make because...
It could let in a draft?
With in-world context, this dumping of info feels like it's not for us viewers, but for the characters on screen. While the viewers get all the benefit, it doesn't feel like we're being handheld with what or how we're learning the lore of this world that we're stepping into. As the scene continues, we're then introduced to one of the movie's villains.
Oh, Mr. Waternoose!
And though that reveal is kept for the climax of the film, from a writing perspective, the introduction of this surreptitious antagonist is beautifully done. Mr. Waternoose's introduction foreshadows his villainy, not only as he literally walks in from the shadows, but also in his fear-mongering dialogue of the dangers human children impose on the monster world.
There's nothing more toxic or deadly than a human child. A single touch could kill you.
Something we later learn he's well aware is completely false. But regardless, he perpetuates this fear in the employees of Monsters Incorporated to bring forth their apathy in causing such distress in children. And this doubles for the audience. We're meant to be sympathizing with these characters, which would be harder to do if they were victimizing innocent children, but by giving the qualifier that human children are toxic and scary as well, it makes it feel like more of a level playing field. It also makes the act of becoming a scarer a courageous effort, one well worth all of the risks, as the outcome is at demand to keep the monster world up and running, as human children's screams is the power source.
I won't go in a kid's room. You can't make me. You're going in there because we need this.
This allows Mr. Waternoose to offset his fear-mongering by encouraging delusions of grandeur in the scarers, how valiant they are to put themselves on the line for the greater good of Monstropolis. But according to Mr. Waternoose, no monster is greater than that of
James P. Sullivan,
our movie's main protagonist. And that's the end of the opening scene. But before we move on to the next, I want to go over just how much this 4.5-minute opening gave us as far as world and story building is concerned. We're made to sympathize with the potentially off-putting scary monsters. Humans are made the adversary and are classified as incredibly dangerous to the monsters. Our overarching villain is introduced in a neutral way, albeit he's a little harsh, but it's framed as if it's for the greater good of the city. It's effortlessly explained that scaring children isn't just a cruelty done for sport, but as a necessity for the way of life in the monster world. What we learn in this scene is the bedrock for the rest of the story, and while it is a lot of information given at once, it being given through natural dialogue in context of the scene leaves the viewer feeling sated with what you've learned, not off-put by how much was dumped on you in one fell swoop. That is a sign of great world building because you don't really feel like you were given as much info as you were, but when later events take place, you can look back at this earlier scene and see how well laid out everything was from the get-go. Now moving on to the next scene where we meet our main characters, the aforementioned James Sullivan, known as Sully, and Mike Wazowski. An iconic duo and best friends well known for their near record-breaking scaring at Monsters Incorporated, facilitated by Sully's monstrosity and Mike's assistance. We're first introduced to this dynamic through a scrupulous training montage, which showcases Sully's natural-born talent and Mike's insistence for greatness, even in the mundane.
Come on, fight that clock! Fight that clock! Scary monsters don't have clock!
As the scene continues, we're given more details and specificities of how Monstropolis runs through a Monsters Incorporated ad Mike and Sully cameo in. This ad explains just what a vital role Monsters Incorporated plays in the upkeep of the city. We're also given more insights to the characters and their personalities throughout the scene, Sully being supportive and happy to see his friend's success,
Hey look, Betty!
or, in Mike's case, sympathetic to his seeming exclusion.
I can't believe it.
Oh, Mike.
But we also see Mike's tendency for finding the bright side of things and how easily he can be appeased.
I was on TV! Ah, did you see me? I'm a natural!
And though this isn't a character study, Pixar's very good at characterizations and mapping them out alongside the world building. I think world building can be enhanced by characters who fit into the constraints of their world only to then slowly outgrow them as the story progresses. And that's very much the case here, as both Mike and Sully fit different ends of the spectrum in the monster world. We learn through their conversations that Monstropolis is going through an energy crisis, aka a scream shortage, and while Mike is fine to go along with the usual way of things, driving his beloved car to work, Sully is conscious of the climate impact and insists they walk instead.
I'll call you!
This scene, like the one preceding it, gives us a lot of important information delivered through casual dialogue. Once the pair makes it to work, we're introduced to the way of life at Monsters Incorporated. We also get to see our main characters and their motivations more fleshed out here. For Sully, it's his place in the community and the good he can do for it, and for Wazowski, it's his love interest Celia and how he and Sully can continue being at the top of their game. We also see how well liked Mike and Sully are by their monster co-workers. That is, for the most part.
Wazowski! Ah!
As we then meet our second villain, Randall Boggs. Randall's first few scenes set the character up to be an arrogant coworker envious of our protagonist's success, but otherwise harmless.
Save it for the scare floor, will you?
But when later bad intentions are revealed, it's no shocker. But it's this dynamic that sets up the perfect bait and switch of Mr. Waternoose's betrayal to make that reveal all the more shocking. Because we're led to believe for the majority of the film that Randall is the bad guy not hiding it well, only to learn he was working at the behest of someone trusted. It is also here where we meet Roz, the office manager,
Wazowski.
who is set up to be a stickler for filing and paperwork just because she can, when in reality another major reveal at the end of the film is that Roz is actually at the head of the CDA running an undercover operation to try and find who is behind all of these shenanigans that are afoot. And this is another case of them setting up a later reveal wonderfully. Having Roz be a fanatic about paperwork is a funny gag in the beginning, but by the time she's revealed to be the head of the CDA, it makes sense. She's trying to figure out what is going on and can only really do that if paperwork doesn't align with what is actually going on the scare floors.
And I'm sure you filed your paperwork correctly, for once.
But anyway, through this set of scenes, we learn a lot more. We meet our main characters and learn what motivates them. Monstropolis is experiencing a scream shortage, Monsters Incorporated and its importance is established, and we meet our main antagonist. What follows is possibly one of the best scenes in the entire movie, the scare floor, where we get to see the world building go from telling through dialogue to officially showing how the magic of this world works. As the doors move into place, we see Mike and the other scare assistants readying each of their stations before we get the iconic monster walk led by Sully. I can't watch this scene without thinking of the very funny blooper that I just love they took the time to animate. Please, Pixar, bring back bloopers. As the monsters prepare to enter the human world, we see the steps they take to make themselves as scary as possible. And then the scaring begins. Each monster going in with their unique approach to do whatever they must to fill their scream canisters.
Feeling good today, Mikey.
We also get a glimpse into the strife the monsters are encountering, with human children becoming more and more desensitized to their scaring tactics.
She wasn't scared of you? She was only 6!
I could have been dead! I could have died!
And we also see the different protocols in place to handle such infractions and how seriously they take these things. From shredding doors of children that are no longer scared of the monsters and are therefore deemed too dangerous, to the more extreme reactions of human paraphernalia making their way into the monster world, a 2319 to be exact. This scene really drives home the seeds that were planted in the first few minutes of the film. Mr. Waternoose's earlier warnings about the danger of human children we're now seeing coming to fruition. It sets up the following storylines perfectly. And when Mr. Waternoose confides in Sully his concerns, we see how dedicated Sully is to helping the system he believes in, but also how far Mr. Waternoose is willing to go in order to keep the system alive, corrupt or not.
I would do anything to keep it from going under. Well, so would I, sir.
And in this final scene that we'll be dissecting today, we learn more about the ins and outs of the monster world as it is before the inciting incident that follows. What a normal workday at Monsters Incorporated looks like, why there is a screen shortage, the villains' motives are revealed, and how far they are willing to go to uphold the systems in place. Again, even though we don't yet know that Mr. Waternoose is the overarching villain of the film, the seeds that are planted here makes the later reveal really impactful. And again, through a writing lens, seeing how well they are setting up each and every character for their arcs throughout this movie is really insightful. What this 20 minutes manages to do, setting up nearly every upcoming beat of plot, is wondrous. We have monsters living in a fear-based society that hinges upon a mass phobia of human children. This fear is then reinforced by the extreme measures taken to counteract this supposed threat, but at the same time, their livelihoods are dependent on facing those very fears, but only within the parameters set forth by the powers that be, all in a bid to keep them in check. It's a brilliant lie that is not only vehemently believed by the monsters in that world, but by us, the viewers, as well. And it is all that buildup that makes the ending so great, and is also what makes this some of Pixar's best world building. And that is the end of the video. If anyone watched until the very end, thank you so much. I plan to come out with a lot more videos in the near future, so I hope to see you there. But until then, have a good day.